You just lost your best driver. And it wasn't because of pay. It wasn't because of miles. It was because of something you said, or didn't say, 3 weeks ago. He's now hauling for your competitor, and you're scrambling to fill his spot. Here's the brutal truth most dispatchers never learn. The difference between average dispatchers and elite ones isn't load rates or negotiation skills. It's understanding the human being behind the wheel. Today, I'm breaking down the psychology of truck drivers and how you need to think if you want to build a loyal, profitable fleet. Welcome to Freight Decode, the channel where we decode the real strategies behind successful truck dispatching in the US market. I'm here to give you insights that go beyond spreadsheets and load boards, because dispatching is as much about people as it is about freight. If you're serious about mastering this game, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You'll get weekly breakdowns on everything from FMCSA compliance to driver retention secrets. Alright, let's dive into the mind of a truck driver. First, you need to understand what life is actually like for these drivers. Picture this, you're alone in a 70-foot rig for 10, 11 hours a day. You're navigating traffic in cities you've never been to. You're dealing with aggressive four-wheelers cutting you off. You're watching your HOS clock like a hawk because one violation could cost you thousands in fines or worse, your CDL. You miss your kid's birthday. Again, you eat truck stop food because there's nowhere else. You're sleeping in a cab while trucks idle around you all night. You shower at a Love's or Pilot when you can find parking. And here's the kicker, while all this is happening, you've got a dispatcher on the phone asking, "Why aren't you there yet?" Without understanding you've been sitting in dock detention for 4 hours with no compensation. This is the daily reality. And if you don't get this, you'll never understand why drivers react the way they do. Now let's talk psychology. Every truck driver, whether they're an owner-operator or a company driver, has 3 core psychological needs. Miss even one, and you're setting yourself up for turnover. Need number 1, respect and autonomy. Drivers didn't get into trucking to be bossed around like children. They value independence. They're managing a $150,000 machine, navigating DOT regulations, and making split-second safety decisions. When you micromanage every mile, every fuel stop, every break, you're sending a message, "I don't trust you." And that destroys morale faster than low pay ever could. Elite dispatchers give clear expectations up front: pickup time, delivery time, any special instructions, and then they step back. They trust their drivers to execute. They check in, but they don't hover. There's a massive difference. Need number 2, time efficiency. Here's what most dispatchers don't realize. A driver's biggest frustration isn't hard work. It's wasted time, sitting at a shipper for 3 hours past appointment time with no detention pay. That's lost income and lost sleep. Getting rerouted last minute because you didn't plan properly. That's hitting their HOS limits and killing their week. Drivers are paid by the mile, not the hour in most cases. So every minute they're not moving is money they're not making. When you book loads without considering realistic transit times, or when you fail to negotiate detention pay, you're costing them real money. And they remember. Need number 3, clear, timely communication. Timing is everything. A driver at hour 10 of his 11-hour clock doesn't want a 5-minute phone call about next week's loads. He needs quick, clear info, drop and hook at the receiver. "I'll send you the next load info once you're 30 minutes out." That's it. But here's where most dispatchers fail. They either overcommunicate at the wrong times or go radio silent when drivers actually need support. You need to read the situation. Is the driver dealing with a breakdown? That's when you step up with solutions, not questions. Is he cruising through Wyoming with 8 hours left on his clock? That's when you can discuss the week ahead. Alright, so how do you actually think like a psychologist while dispatching? It starts with a fundamental mindset shift. Stop thinking of drivers as resources on a board. Start thinking of them as business partners with emotions, families, and financial pressures. Shift 1. Empathy over efficiency. Yes, you need to move freight. But if you're optimizing loads at the expense of driver well-being, you're playing a losing game. Let me give you an example. You've got a driver finishing a delivery in Atlanta. You find a smoking hot load going to LA, great rate, fast turnaround. But that driver just ran hard for 10 days straight and mentioned his daughter's recital is this weekend back home in North Carolina. The efficiency-focused dispatcher books LA and deals with the fallout later. The psychologist-minded dispatcher says, "Let me find you a NC backhaul so you can make that recital. We'll hit LA next week." Guess which driver is loyal for life? Shift 2. Anticipate problems before they escalate. Drivers don't always voice frustration immediately. They'll internalize it until one day they just quit. Your job is to read between the lines. If a driver who's usually chatty starts giving one-word responses, something's wrong. If he's consistently asking about home time, he's burning out. Great dispatchers check in proactively. "Hey, I noticed you've been on the road for 18 days straight. Let's get you home this weekend." That simple acknowledgement can prevent a resignation letter. Shift 3. Build trust through consistency. Psychology 101. Humans trust patterns. If you promise detention pay and deliver, trust builds. If you say, "I'll get you home Friday," and you do, trust builds. But if you make promises and break them, even once, you've damaged that relationship. Drivers have long memories. They remember the dispatcher who fought for them when a broker tried to short pay. They also remember the one who threw them under the bus to save a customer relationship. Be the dispatcher they remember for the right reasons. Let's get tactical. How do you apply this psychology day to day? Tactic 1. Personalize your communication. Don't copy-paste the same message to every driver. Use their name. Reference past conversations. "Hey Mike, I know you mentioned wanting more Southeast regional work. Got a good one for you." That takes 5 extra seconds but makes a massive difference. Tactic 2. Celebrate wins. When a driver goes above and beyond, delivers early, handles a difficult customer, prevents an accident, acknowledge it. A simple, "Man, you killed it on that delivery. Customer was blown away," costs you nothing but builds massive goodwill. Drivers rarely get thanked. Be the exception. Tactic 3. Handle conflicts like a pro. Conflict is inevitable. A load goes sideways. A driver misses a delivery window. The amateur dispatcher points fingers. The psychologist-minded dispatcher asks, "What happened? How can we prevent this next time?" Focus on solutions, not blame. Even when a driver is clearly at fault, approaching it as a learning moment rather than an attack preserves the relationship. Tactic 4. Understand financial pressure. Most drivers are living check to check or running thin margins as owner ops. When you delay sending rate confirmations, when you book cheap freight, when you don't fight for accessorials, you're directly impacting their ability to pay rent, support families, and keep their trucks running. Always think, is this load worth their time and fuel? If the answer is no, don't book it. Here's what happens when you master driver psychology: your retention rate skyrockets. You're not constantly onboarding new drivers and dealing with the chaos of high turnover. Your drivers become advocates, they refer their friends. You build a reputation as a dispatcher who actually cares, and top-tier drivers seek you out. You also become more profitable. Loyal drivers are more reliable. They handle challenging loads because they trust you. They communicate issues early because they know you'll support them. And when market conditions get tough, they stick with you instead of jumping ship. This isn't soft, touchy-feely nonsense. This is strategic business psychology that separates six-figure dispatchers from those constantly struggling to keep trucks moving. If you got value from this, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below. What's your biggest challenge in managing driver relationships? I read every single one and I'll make content around your questions. And if you're ready to level up your dispatching game even further, check out the next video where I break down how to negotiate detention pay like a pro. Remember, dispatching isn't just moving freight, it's understanding people. I'll see you in the next one. Keep those wheels turning.